GameSHOUT Radio is property of GameSHOUT, a company of Red Planet LLC. All rights reserved. Executive producer, Andy Hodges. For live broadcast booking information, syndication, or advertising, email info@GameSHOUT.com. All comments expressed on the show are not necessarily those of GameSHOUT, Red Planet LLC, its advertisers, guests, or syndication affiliates. All music is licensed by ASCAP and BMI. Recordings of this broadcast prohibited without prior written consent.
And welcome back to GameSHOUT Radio. This is your host, Captain Maverick, along with your fellow hosts, Josh and Simon. Hey guys, how you doing today?
Oh, hey.
Still getting
Yeah, you sound a little stuffy today, man.
Well, I heard you weren't doing too well yourself, man, earlier this week.
I don't know, man. I was talking a little like this earlier in the week. I just couldn't get by. It was just a really rough man and stuff like that, you know.
Hey, we got a lot of fun for you guys today. We are going to talk, well, we're going to start out with a bunch of gaming news, as is our wont. We're going to talk a little bit about our old buddy Jack Thompson. We got some news to talk about Halo 3. We're going to talk a little bit about Team Fortress 2. Soulrift is going to bring us up to date on, little game that he wants, World Conflict. Isn't that right, Soulrift?
It's not a little game, man. You downplay all the stuff that I like.
All right, Simon. All right. Hey, listen, and we also have, and hang on for the ride, because later on, we'll bring you some of the sexy, some of the wacky news from around the world, and yes, there is some sexy news in the wacky news about a man who hides some sex toys in the worst way. We'll tell you about that. Some fans that go to the great beyond. I'm going to tell you about a politician in the United States who actually sues God, and about a biker who gets, struck by lightning in the worst way. All of this and so much more on your GameSHOUT Radio right here. So let's go ahead and start the ball rolling. Let's start out with Jack Thompson, because wait a minute. Whoa. We got some big news that Josh.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Josh. You got some big news just came in on the wire.
Well, it's not really news that just came in. It's been out for a while now. However, sad day for all racing fans. Last Saturday, fans of the Colin McRae series of racing games. Sadly, racer Colin McRae had died in a helicopter crash with his 5-year-old son on board. Last week, there's been a huge letter sent out from Activision, the publishers of Colin McRae's games, Codemasters, not Activision. Tons of stuff going on here. If you guys have seen the new game called Dirt, that's a Colin McRae game. So sad day in gaming and racing, both for all parties involved.
Yeah, and our hearts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Colin McRae and all those who mourn with them. And it's a sad day.
On the topic of people dying, fantasy fans will also mourn the loss of Robert Jordan, the author of the Wheel of Time series of books, who passed away recently as well.
No way, are you serious?
That's right, yeah, he did. He died of, actually it's a rare blood disease, and he was right in the middle of, I think it was his 12th book in the series.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of that series. I didn't know that Robert Jordan died, because he's not going to finish the series. It's sad that he's dead, but it stinks because now I can't finish the books.
I know. I don't know how they're going to, work it out, but right in the middle of the 12th book, or I don't know if it was like right in the middle of it, or if it was like towards the end, but I know he was working right to the end though.
See, this is what happens, Got a great series going.
I know.
I want to end it on time.
So anyone else recently, or
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about death anymore. Let's get people riled up. Let's get your blood pressure boiling right now, okay? I want to get gamers in the world just like let's let's get your heart beating, okay? Let's talk about Jack Thompson. Josh, this is your very favorite subject in the whole wide world. And I know Simon, he really doesn't, I don't know if he bugs you as much as he does a lot of people here in the U.S., but if you're a GTA fan, he may bug you just a little bit. All right, sorry I had to hit the sneeze switch there. Jack Thompson, our famed Florida attorney, is demanding that references to lawyer killing be removed from Grand Theft Auto 4. See, Florida attorney Jack Thompson, he's made famous for his anti-video game stance, is at it again. He demanded that Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive remove all references to the killing of lawyers out of Grand Theft Auto 4. Mr. Thompson has in the past referred to previous iterations of the GTA series, along with other games such as Counter-Strike, as murder simulators. Da-da-da-da! Well, while appearing on GameSHOUT Radio, Mr. Thompson took a stance that these games should only be kept out of the hands of children under the age of 17. Well, recently, Mr. Thompson reportedly sent his 15-year-old son into a local Best Buy store to successfully purchase an M-rated video game that really should not have been sold to anyone under the age of 17, according to the Best Buy store policy. Now, however, Mr. Thompson is demanding that GTA 4 be changed. He reportedly believes that the first mission of the game requires that the player, has to murder a lawyer who advocates against video games. Mr. Thompson believes that the character is based on him. You see, specifically, Mr. Thompson alludes to a quotation that has been wrongfully attributed to him by a number of websites out there. It's reportedly been spoken by the lawyer in the game that says, "Guns don't kill people, video games do." Well, Thompson believes that this treatment of the fictitious lawyer in the game could be a threat to Mr. Thompson, and, he's made the demand that the content be removed from the game by 5 p.m. on Friday the 21st. Another chapter in the ongoing feud between Take-Two Interactive and Jack Thompson, which will no doubt continue for some time to come. Comment, Josh?
I don't. Jack Thompson and our history intertwines like there's. I don't want to get into it because, frankly, the guy's just crazy. There's about all you can really say to it, so I don't want to go too far into this, but the man's lost
wait a minute.
all sensibilities.
He did not sound that crazy when we interviewed him on GameSHOUT Radio, okay? I mean, he didn't sound crazy. He just, he sounded pretty sensible. I mean, the guy just wanted to keep M-rated video games out of the hands of kids, and you agreed with that as well, but then he goes and he turns around and he starts doing things that looked really kind of wacky. I mean, it's not what he says, it's what he does that makes the difference.
Even the most unstable have their good days.
Thank you, I'm okay. I'm on my medication now.
Today, Jack is not eating the wallpaper or licking them all, saying that the snozberries taste like snozberries.
Yeah, that's it. Oh. Man, I'll tell you what, though. He's done some really wacky things in the past, and maybe we should save him for the wacky news. But I really do appreciate some of the things that he's done. I mean, sending his son into the Best Buy undercover in a sting operation against Best Buy. That's just, you got to admit, that's kind of funny. I mean, he did that before too, when his son was 10 years old, I think. Sent him in to buy a mature-rated game, and the kid bought it. As a matter of fact, Thompson. Let me look up the story here. I've got to find this one, but bear with me just a minute here while I look. I want to tell you who he once fired.
I wonder if the kid realizes he's Daddy's meal ticket,
or Daddy's mule.
That too.
Man, honestly, talk about Jack Thompson just makes me want to fire out the PS3 and slash some stuff up with Ninja Gaiden Sigma.
Seriously, you got to wonder, does his son get the crap kicked out of him daily at school? Honestly, the older this kid gets, the more that these other kids are going to realize, All right, your dad's a douche.
But did they beat up the kid by, replaying video game violence? That's just like the most appropriate thing.
Well, this kid. The easiest way for this kid to like rebel in his youth is just to like go out and buy Grand Theft Auto, and then hide it under his covers, like hide it under his mattress, like have all the Grand Theft Autos. Instead of porno mags, he just, Jack just walks in. What's this I found? I found your Grand Theft Auto. Ah. I don't know why I went Sean Connery with that, but okay.
I don't know, but it worked. No,
I was trying to think old man.
Was BioShock. Okay, that's pretty graphic game. That's a pretty
that's right.
game.
I remember why he did that, because it's a 2K game and he thinks that they are the devil incarnate.
Exactly. Now, in a statement released by Thompson, okay, he said that the gaming industry is engaged in an ongoing fraudulent and deceptive trade practices across the nation by claiming to check IDs when they don't. He also added that the situation is exasperated by his son purchasing the M-rated game from the same Best Buy store that his son bought Grand Theft Auto Vice City from when he was 10 years old. Thompson is demanding that Best Buy fire the store's manager and the girl with the piercing through her right eyebrow who sold him the game.
Make me laugh. Make me laugh if, like, the kid was standing there buying the game, and the woman's like, well, are you 18? No, but my dad's right over there. And the dad's like, peering, Jack's peering through the doors of Best Buy, waving at his son, and she's like, oh, okay, that's cool then. Just frothing at the mouth and licking the
buying
windows.
Buying it for Dad. Yeah, I can see it. Dad's on medication. He can't come into the store today.
I don't know. Oh. I'm sure that there's more to this story than meets the eye, as there is more to everything Jack Thompson does than meets the eye.
There usually is. But, hey, let's go ahead and move on to some nicer news, okay? Just a nice little piece of news. Sony Online Entertainment did some really nice stuff, and we didn't hear about it when they actually did it, but now that they're going back, we're kind of hearing that, what's going on, and I want to make sure everybody knows about this. Okay, everybody remembers that it was the summer of 2005. Hurricane Katrina, it leaves its devastating mark on the southern United States as it destroys many areas across the Gulf Coast, including the city of New Orleans. Now, the damage done by the storm affected countless lives, and Sony, they decided to do what it could about it. So 13,000 players living in those hard-hit areas, they were affected by the storm, and Sony Online Entertainment, they decided to give those players time to recover from the tragedy for free. That's right, Sony paid for those subscriptions for the last 2 years for those 13,000 accounts. And those gamers, they've not been billed. But now, of course, it's time to get back to normal again, and so starting back on Monday the 17th, those game accounts, they will resume back to normal billing process, okay? So those of you who live in the affected areas and make sure you check your account, make sure it's up to date and everything else so that you don't get your gaming interrupted. But those of you who, may have a thing for Sony Online Entertainment one way or the other, take heart. This is kind of I guess maybe a game company with a little bit of heart themselves. I think that's kind of a cool thing. They didn't have to do it, but they did.
Oh, they've done cool stuff before. I mean, Sony, with Kurt Schilling a while back, we had him on here to interview him about when Kurt Schilling was on here talking about that the character that they made of him in EverQuest. Was it EverQuest or EverQuest 2? I don't remember which one. But
it was EverQuest 2.
Yeah. So this isn't the first time Sony's done something like this, but it's great to see that they aren't just doing this as PR. They're doing this over and over again, just because they can do it. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just thought it was very, very cool, and nobody hears about these things. And what I thought was the coolest part is that Sony didn't go out and make a lot of publicity about it and say, "Hey, gee, look what we're doing. We're doing this really nice thing." Okay. That I thought was very, very, very cool. A lot of companies, they'll go out and do something nice, and then they make sure that everybody knows about it. But what Sony Online Entertainment did, was they did it very quietly. Now, to do something a little bit more loudly, you remember the Boston Tea Party? Okay, taxation without representation led to the Boston Tea Party, where the revolutionaries dressed up as Indians at the time known as Indians, now known as Native Americans, and threw tea into the harbor. Okay, well, let's get your blood pumping again. Soulrift, tell us about taxation without representation, about the internet.
I wanted to talk about like gaming stuff. Here I got to talk about taxation. But anyways, here we go. Tax news. Originally in 1998, there was a ban, a moratorium on internet tax. So taxing internet service providers and prohibited local and state governments from collecting tax on various types of internet connection services. This was out of concern that a tax on internet connections, particularly broadband, would significantly slow its adoption rate in the U.S. and keep certain citizens disconnected for good. The moratorium was extended in 2004 for 3 more years, but unless the politicians in Congress get together and extend the moratorium or pass a new law or a new bill or something, those taxes are going to come back, and that could mean that your internet service for your computer, for your BlackBerry, for internet cell phones, all of that could cost as much as 20% more.
Ow! Now that hurts.
Now, naturally, ISPs favor the permanent ban. ISPs themselves don't get anything. They don't get to tax you. It's the state and federal governments that get to do the taxing. So the ISPs want the ban on taxing to continue so they can continue to sell more internet, reach more customers, people that may otherwise downgrade or choose not to have internet because of the prohibitive costs. On the other hand, taxing the internet could mean up to $120 million per year in tax revenues, so it's a lot of money that the government's looking to give up.
Well, the other thing you got to keep in mind is that the ISPs then have to act as an agent or an intermediary to the IRS when they have to collect taxes from us, the end customer, and then pass them on to the IRS. That's an extra step that they end up doing that, well, they have to act as, and it costs them money to do so.
I don't know anything about governments. I just read the news. I live in Canada. We've got a completely different political system here. Ours actually makes sense.
No political system makes sense, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay. Back to the gaming news. This is what I want to talk about, because when the PS3 came out, of course, I was right on the forefront talking about the PS3. One of the big issues was that their controller was going to eschew, there's a nice word of the day, eschew rumble function. You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There was a big stink about that. Yeah, this was
a whole big thing going on. And so just recently at the, let's see here, where was it? Oh yeah, the Tokyo Game Show. How can I miss that? At the Tokyo Game Show, there was the new version of the 6-axis controller, which looks exactly like the existing 6-axis controller, but has been dubbed the DualShock 3 because it's got vibrating function.
Ooh.
They said it couldn't be done, and here it is. Well, apparently, Sony has officially confirmed the DualShock 3, which will be available in spring 2008. They don't have any announcement yet on the pricing, or if the controller will be the new standard pack-in controller in future PlayStation 3 bundles, or if it will only be available as a standalone controller. Either way, one of the interesting things is that many games that are already released, including, for example, Resistance Fall of Man, that was a launch title, will be having software updates to add rumble function to the game. So you'll be able to buy one of the new DualShock 3 controllers when it comes out, go back to Resistance Fall of Man, and replay it with vibration functions enabled. So that's kind of cool. One of my concerns, though, is that, like, I know, for example, one of my sticky, irritating points is that for Ninja Gaiden Sigma, they released the Weapon Master feature as a separate purchasable add-on, and I'm wondering if they're actually going to charge you money and sell you Rumble functions to your games as an optional purchasable add-on.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that
What if they
suck?
do? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you pay an extra $40-$50 or whatever, you get the controller, and now you got to spend a couple dollars for each game to add Rumble function to it. You know, the whole selling of add-ons is just really getting out of hand.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, you pay enough for the PS3 and controller anyway. I mean, but to add an additional add-on, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like you're nickel and diming it to death. And, well,
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
more than nickel and diming it.
So, of interesting titles announcing Rumble function, of course, Resident Evil 5. That's going to be very good. Of course, Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear is known for using the Rumble function very intelligently to add to the game, and so Metal Gear Solid 4 is going to have it. And also Metal Gear Online. Have I just, like, totally been missing out on something? I mean, what is Metal Gear Online? Are they actually making an online, like, MMO out of Metal Gear?
I hadn't heard. Have you, Josh?
I haven't heard any. Josh, you ever hear about Metal
I've
Gear
heard
Online?
I have heard of it. However, I don't have much information on it. I don't know if it's just going to be like an addition. Because last time with the last Metal Gear, there was an online multiplayer to it. However, I'm trying to see if I can pull anything up on it because I remember reading about it not too long ago. I just don't have all the information.
Well, also on the list is the recently released Heavenly Sword. It's a pretty cool game to get Rumble function added in. Not on the list is the one I keep talking about, Ninja Gaiden Sigma. And apparently, although Dynasty Warriors Gundam is not on the list, Dynasty Warriors 6 is on the list. And here's something that Mav will find exciting. Warhawk is going to be getting Rumble function.
Oh, that's going to be cool. But the problem is they need to fix this stats issue. This has been a big sticking point with Warhawk. Soulrift and myself and well, my son and partner Islander, we've been playing a lot of Warhawk this week, and the stats have been all over the place. I mean, Islander, he's got like 150, 200 kills, but it's showing him as having like 15,000 kills as a Master Sergeant, having all kinds of stuff. It's like wild.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Warhawk is it's a pretty interesting sort of game. The one feature that I thought was really cool, I know in offline mode, you can split screen multiplayer and all that. And have you heard anything about patching in split screen multiplayer for online mode?
Yes. I don't know about doing a split screen for multiplayer mode other than doing it in the same room with him. Okay. When we're in the studio, we're able to, just on the same PS3, we're able to split screen, but we have not been able to use different screen names. That's the only thing. So I've sent a note over to Sony to try and figure this out and figure out how to change the screen names. I asked Scott, I said, is it just because I'm a little bit old or something that I'm not able to figure this out, or what?
No, I couldn't get it either. I could get it. I just thought the concept was really cool, because I know online gaming is I mean, we've talked about this the past 2 weeks. It just adds so much to a game. And of course, Warhawk is online only, but also split-screen multiplayer is a lot of fun. You get your friends together, you hunker down in front of the TV, all grab a controller, you're nudging your friend to make him screw up his shot or whatever. And the idea of doing, say 4-player split-screen, and then taking that online, having your 4 guys on the same screen on a team against all those opponents in a big, this is the worst thing. I know the internet lingo for this, but I can't remember the proper way to say it.
Well, the only thing that's a drawback, okay, is when Islander and I are playing online, okay? And we're on. That's the word. That's what it is, Simon. But the problem
can we
is,
say that?
You can't. Yeah, I don't want to say that on the air because I want to make this a family friendly show. But I think you can use the for that last half of the word you can say muck, as in gooey, mucky. So yeah, there you go.
Yes. we got to aim for an M-rated show because the M-rated stuff sells better.
Well, it does. It
by
does.
Technicality, it does, and it's. If y'all don't say it, I'm just gonna right out say it, and then I'm.
No! Jack Thompson will get all over us.
Hold on. Moment of silence. Cluster. Now, what I can do is just edit that completely out or bleep it. Either way.
Well, thanks,
when
Josh.
You're in
now we're
cluster,
rated.
Trying to play Warhawk, and you got the split screen. I just thought that would be really cool.
Okay, now we got 2 beeps. All right. So
I can live with that.
Yeah, I know you can.
You got to say it once. You have a nice 3-round beeping.
I can't. It's that's not part of my vocabulary. But
join it. Oh, okay. That's a bunch of BS. Join us, Mav. Say it once. Get it out.
You know me
it.
better than that.
You got to get it out of your system. You're just like shaking there.
Here it comes. Cluster.
Now I'm going to bleep it out just to make people think.
Yeah, we're just going to bleep
anyways,
it.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, guys. Now I'm going to get a call from my bishop going, hey, Jim, I heard your radio show. Mav. Hey, all right, well, look, bottom line is that when I'm playing with Islander, okay, and we're playing, it's really funny because we're playing, he likes to play the split screen, and he likes to play a local server, and he likes to just do this one-on-one, because there's nothing more fun than a son kicking the garbage out of his father. You know that. I know that.
I think I think the word you were looking for was crap.
Yeah, that's true. That is exactly what happens. He does kick the crap out of his father. Okay.
I know you're full of crap, but I don't think you got any garbage in you.
Oh yeah. Close enough.
I went there.
Oh yeah. You don't have to beat that one. That's a PG-13. Anyhow, and there's exact no son enjoys anything more than beating the crap out of his father. Okay, so and that's what he likes doing. The problem is he's a bum. He looks at my side of the screen. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put a second HD TV in the break room, and I can't get our producer to spring for a second HD TV. So I don't know. I may have to bring in one from home. I'm just going to have to do something here because I'm really getting fed up with this. And he's getting really good with the knife now. So, but anyhow, Warhawk, we've been having a lot of fun playing this, especially with the using the movement, the 6 degrees of motion of the controller.
That just drives me nuts. I can't do it. I have to use
things. Well, turn it down to about 35 to 40% from 50%, and you'll have an easier time with it.
I'll keep playing around with it.
Yeah, the sensitivity's a little bit too high.
I guess
it is. It's a blast, and I've been kind of getting into it. But the other thing I've been getting into is if we're done with Warhawk, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about Warhawk?
No, I'm done. I'm ready to go on.
Okay. Well, one thing about Warhawk is mental note: don't fly into walls.
Well, I know you just bounce.
It causes a lot of damage. Oh man, it causes a lot of damage.
Power up, you
I do it. Man, I'm being chased by all kinds of bad guys, and I fly. I'm flying into walls. But it is a lot of fun.
I thought we were done with Warhawk, man.
Check it out. Okay, now moving on from Warhawk, I've been playing the beta of Team Fortress 2. Okay, and I don't want to go into a lot of detail yet because it's still under construction, so to speak. But Team Fortress 2 takes our Team Fortress of the olden days. What is it? 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe 8 years old, and it turns it into a cartoon, fun kill-a-thon. It really is a blast. It really is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of cartoon, blowing body parts all over the place. There are, let's see, 3, 6, 9. Are there 9 or 12 different classifications? You've got your heavy mini gunner, you've got your demolitions guy, you've got your soldier, you've got your medic, you've got your spy, your scouts, and there's all you're playing all
engineer,
the old
sniper,
maps
pyro.
There you go, engineer, sniper, pyro. Yeah, it's funny watching these people running around. I'm on fire! I'm on fire! I'm on fire! I'm on fire! And thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. And it's a lot of fun. I'm seeing some. Yeah, I know. Seeing a lot of bugs in the sound right now because there's a lot of sound that are overloading the sound cards, and so that's been some of the things that I've been seeing come back. But the graphics are incredible, and really, I guess what they've been focusing on is the fun, and the fun is in there. It really is. So we'll keep it up. We'll keep you posted. The game is going to see its official release in the orange box by Valve in its Team Fortress 2, along with Portal and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Now they're adding Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and the full version of Half-Life 2. Those of you who have the latter two games will be able to gift those to somebody who doesn't have them.
Frankly, what I'm happy to see about TF2 is the fact that Valve didn't go into this and make the game take itself too seriously. I mean, this is, in all honesty, a breath of fresh air in a series of games that have been coming out that were dead serious kind of tactical shooters. Where Team Fortress was never like that, and you look back to when TF2 was originally announced, it was set to be more of a realistic modern day modern warfare kind of game. But I'm really glad that they stepped away from that and gave us something a little off the wall, something a little more off the wall than normal.
Oh, totally off the wall. Absolutely off the wall. Now, I've been getting my best kills and most fun playing Demolition Man. And you've got a couple of different modes. You've got the ability to shoot 4 of these the launching grenades, and then the other one is these mines, and basically it's a defensive position. So I'm keeping the bad guys from coming in to our zone, and then I've got a bottle that I get to work with and beat them up with, but I never get that far. and I'm telling you, it's a lot of the same fun that we had in the original Team Fortress Classic, but you're right, they just don't take themselves seriously, and I guess that's what I'm finding is the most fun out of it.
Well, if that's all that we got for that, I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I can't throw in, but I got other news to bring up here.
Talk to me, man. I know. You've been kind of chomping at the bit to get onto this next piece and our next discussion.
Well, not that one yet, but just a few little tidbits coming out of Tokyo Game Show 07. Quite a lot going on over in Tokyo. First off, I don't know if you guys have heard of Lost Odyssey yet. It's new RPG coming out for the 360. Anyone? No. Well, quite an interesting little.
I've heard of it, but hadn't heard much about it yet.
It's new RPG coming out. It's more of a Japanese from the same guys that did Blue Dragon, Mistwalker, the same developer. Pretty much just set out and announced something something we haven't heard in quite a long time. Let's put it that way. They're pretty much saying that the Lost Odyssey is going to span 4 DVDs worth of content, with roughly 40 to 50 hours of RPG adventure all filled into these 4 DVDs.
Now this is just, in my opinion, this is a total zing against the Xbox 360, because if they did this for PS3, it would only take 1 Blu-ray disc.
It may, but I mean, this is just coming back to...
Blu-ray is 5 DVDs. A dual-layer Blu-ray is 5 dual-layer DVDs. It's 10 DVDs.
True, but this is like the first game ever that needs that much space for either game. I mean, in all honesty, neither game has really needed that much. Neither console has needed that much space ever. Everything's fit perfectly, squarely on a little DVD. But
well, actually,
this is
the Darkness. I remember we contacted the Darkness when we were writing the review because Mav was doing the 360 and I was doing the PS3. We're comparing the differences. It turns out that the PS3 version of the Darkness has a whole bunch more extra video content. Like when you're playing the game, you can actually go up to TVs and like watch old 60s movies. It's really cool. And there's a bunch more of them on the PS3 version because they had more space on the Blu-ray disc. So there's one example of slightly using more Blu-ray space.
Oh, I'm not denying it, but I mean, still, I mean, this is just crazy. We haven't seen this size or this amount of DVDs for an RPG since like the PS1 or the PS2.
Exactly.
I know the Xbox never had that. It was just crazy.
I mean, the Xbox should have had a built-in like HD DVD drive or something, so they could have put this all on one disc.
But again, that's another debate that I'm not going to get into today, because then that's just going to go right off the derailment. But anyways, other news going on from Tokyo Game Show. Sony also another, speaking of Sony, they also threw out a new video of Africa. For those of you who don't know what Africa is, it's the upcoming game that has animals. And that's about all we know about it. That's all about anyone knows about it. The animals are pretty. They're really realistic. They're amazing. We both Mav and I saw this at last year's E3 for the first time when they initially announced this title. But nobody knows a damn thing about what this game's about. But they are showing off. Hopefully we're going to see some more coming out of Tokyo Game Show, kind of telling us what the hell this game's about. Not quite sure as of yet, but we'll see what goes on. One other news piece, and this probably will take us right into...
Is this also out of the Tokyo Game Show?
No, it's not.
No.
Oh, man. Then I can't play the... I finally found the music for this Tokyo Game Show news, but now I can't
You
play
could
it.
have put in like from an anime from like 2 years ago, man.
Yeah, anime
Anyway.
clips. Okay, oh well. Go ahead.
Which one were you going to play?
Anyways.
Oh, I was thinking playing Zega Pain.
Oh man, Josh, you better go on before he starts clicking.
Yeah, anyways, moving on to more of a topic that I am more intimately familiar with. Halo 3. Yes, of course, this was going to be a topic at some point in time today. I mean, the game comes out by standard in 3 days. You will not see me from the time of midnight Eastern here to all the way to 2 days later, 3 days later. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but...
He'll be drinking the dew.
With that, I actually have not, and this is a weird little thing, and this is going to be like my second surprise of today, is that I have not drank a single can of dew, a bottle, nothing, drop of soda anywhere for the last 2.5 months. So, no, I have not even partaken in the Halo 3 Mountain Dew. I had a sip of it, but that's it. That's all I've had in the last 2.5 months. So, no, I am completely dew-free.
You're dewless.
And we all know my rampant fascination. Like, there should have been, like, some kind of Mountain Dew video with me and it telling me how it misses me. But sadly, no, I just kind of quit it cold turkey. Didn't drink anymore. Drink more coffee now and water, but that's about it. But anyways, back to the actual Halo 3.
There you go. Okay.
For those of you who have been partaking in the game fuel that I have been missing out on, or just want to, more Halo 3 news and video and things to watch and things to do, there's been a new Halo 3 vid doc released right out on the old Xbox of Live. That's right, if you can go online right now and download the new documentary entitled Cinema Paradiso, it's basically a walkthrough of the new map editor, Forge. But let me just say, everything I've read about this game, everything I've seen on this game, everything I've looked at from this game, so far, flipping amazing. The gravity hammer, Forge itself, so much going on with this game right now that I don't think that my 3 days or 2 days hiatus from the world is going to be enough to fully take everything in all at once. It's going to take me quite a lot more time. But... For those of you who wanna check it out, it is for download right now on Xbox Live. Also, there's a new one final massive 2-hour-long Bungie podcast with Joe Staten and Marty O'Donnell, both of them from Marty O'Donnell, who does the sound and music, Joe Staten, who's one of the cinematographers and writers of Halo. Both of them are on the 2 hour long Bungie podcast, which pretty much just wraps it up, gives it up. Let's hear it. It's 3 freaking days away. It's already in stores. I mean, what else is there to do for them except just sit back and watch the money just pour in and the praise and everything. So yeah, where are you going to be Monday night on the 24th at midnight? I'm going to be in line getting my copy. Not sure what else I'm doing yet, but I'm immediately going back with my girlfriend and playing co-op the entire night.
I'm going to be in Tempest Keep trying to kill Alar and Void Reaver.
Well, I'm already going to be playing, but that's beside the point. Because we've got review copies here. And,
true, but I'm taking part in the fanboyism of it.
That's right. Josh is going to be doing the fan part of it. He's going to be going out and getting involved with the people, okay? While at the same time, we are going to have a review copy or so here, and we'll probably have at least one to give away, and see where we go from there. But there are some things going on out there, some actually parties going on in line, if you're of a mind to be one of those that waits in line. Some of the locations include the Best Buy in New York City, on this is 529 Fifth Avenue. It's just off of Times Square. TV cameras are going to be ramped up, including G4 and Spike TV. They're going to be holding an all-day long activities, and you can be assured there are going to be more than 1 or 2 Halo costumes. The costume contest. The GameStop on Universal Studios Boulevard in Universal City, California, is going to be hosting events starting in the evening, including celebrity autographs and Halo trivia. Of course, Seattle, Washington, the Best Buy on 120th Avenue Northeast in Bellevue is going to be opening its doors at 12:01 a.m. It's going to be... people in line are going to get a chance to play against the Bungie team, local pro athletes, and down in Miami, the Circuit City, on 8575 Northwest 13th Terrace. It's going to be hosting Miami's Midnight Madness event. It's going to feature product giveaways and contests starting at 9 p.m. on Monday the 24th. And all this going across the United States, and people calling this calling in on Tuesday with a case of the green flu. Now, I think we can expect a real work stoppage on Tuesday in this country. This should be a very serious problem. I'm a little concerned about this, unless, of course, your job includes playing Halo 3 for review, which thankfully ours does. So we'll see you next week.
I can't wait. Literally, you're not going to see me for quite a while, but... I do have one other news piece, non-Halo related, that kind of, before we kick off to the next segment. World of Warcraft players, all you folks who exist out there, we know there's like freaking 8 and 9 million of you, but new patch coming out here soon, 2.2, has just closed down on the test servers, which means that we could see the new patch as early as next week. That's right. This new patch adds a whole crap ton of new stuff to it. No less being a new sound engine, along with voice chatting all across selected servers to start, and then they're going to roll that out slowly over time to the other servers. So, will this replace Ventrilo and TeamSpeak and all those other things that people use? Don't know yet. Don't know, but we will see what happens here in the near future.
Yeah, I've had some friends that were checking it out on the test server, and they say it's pretty good. For an integrated voice chat, they say it's pretty good.
Well, I mean, I've read a little bit about it just because it caught my interest. I mean, the new Wrath of the Lich King was just announced not too long ago. We're starting to see more and more screenshots coming out for it. More news is coming to light, and I have to say I'm getting excited for Wrath of the Lich King. Completely different game if it was the Witch King, but Wrath of the Lich King.
Isn't that like another year from now? I mean, they just put out Burning Crusade, I guess, a year ago. I mean, they're not going to dump another expansion on us 12 months later.
Well, it's been less than a year for Burning Crusade. Yeah.
Well, Burning Crusade was January of this year, so it's been 9 months ago.
Yes, I'll go with that, but I mean, honestly, I don't see why not. I mean, they just released not too long ago, like a couple months ago, one of the biggest patches ever. You know, actually, it was the biggest patch ever, 2.1. I mean, they added brand new content, tons of new stuff, all this stuff going on. I mean, I'm looking forward to see what they can do with Wrath of Lich King and see what they come out with. I mean, really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're not really going to be doing World of Warcraft 2 anytime soon. So, you know what, why not? Let's get this out here. Let's, you know, bring more people in. I don't, you know, pretty much everybody's, as far as I know, finished up doing, you know, all their level 70 content so far, and by next November, you're going to have more stuff to do. My big thing is, and this is a whole other topic, and a whole other show, and I don't know if Soulrift agrees with me or not, I really think they need to go back and start going through some of the mid-level content, some of the old content, and just spice it up, put some new stuff in. You know, all the mid-level stuff needs to have kind of a revamping, in my opinion.
You know,
we need to get some more of that.
I've heard rumors that Nexaramus, the endgame dungeon prior to Burning Crusade, the really big dungeon, that essentially very few people got to see through because most guilds were still glass chewing on the first few bosses when they released Burning Crusade, and of course as soon as that happened no one, you know, cared about it and they all went on to the new content. But I have heard that they're going to remake Nax as like a heroic dungeon for 25 man. And I've heard conflicting reports. Some people say it's going to come out as a level 70 instance before the next expansion. Other people say it's going to come out as a level 80 expansion. Level 80 dungeon with the next expansion. I suppose either is plausible, but you know, maybe they're going to be doing that with a lot more of their dungeons, sort of re-rolling them as heroic instances for the current or the next expansion, which is a pretty cool idea, because like some of these early levels, you know, like you go to you know, Shadowfang Keep, which is like a level 20, 24 thing, and most players nowadays, you know, you just power level up soloing, and you never see any of those low-level instances unless you go and farm them or something. And to remake them with like heroic difficulty is not a bad idea.
I don't know. I think I'm
see
talking.
How it is.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you see how it is. I finally get my my lock up to 70 and or close to 70, almost there, and I'm, you know, working on one of my lower characters. He's kind of a middle level now, and I would love to see a revamp of some of the mid level missions now. Well, see, my what I'm more or less coming to the point of saying right now is, you know, they're adding the new Deathbringer class, or the Death Knight. I can't remember what the name of it. The new class is going to be that you have to actually unlock when you're level 80, and then after that, you know, you can go back and start a brand new character with this new class that you've unlocked. It's not going to be open to anyone new. You actually have to go through a quest to unlock a new class, and then you can start a new character with it. But, you know, we've been starting characters over and over again. We have it down to such a science that, you know, it's starting to get boring starting a new character. Why would I want to keep going back through the same content over and over again? I'd like to see some new life infused into, like, you know, from 10 to 40 or 10 to 50 or whatever. Get some new, maybe some new instances, new quests, throw some stuff in there, add it all into the new expansion. Let's stop just building upwards here, but let's start building sideways as well. Start re-expanding the mid-level content.
Well, I know with Burning Crusade they added 2 new leveling zones for both sides, from 1 to 10 and from 10 to 20, and those were pretty well done. They had a lot more fun quests, a lot more engaging stuff and storylines. You know, the Draenei and Blood Elf homelands. But yeah, like you said, that, you know, as soon as you finish those 2, you got your level 20 guy, and you got to go back to the, you know, the tried and true old areas and grind your way up to 58 before you can go to Outland and do it fun again. I mean, the game from 20 to 58 just sucks now, because Outland and the new areas are just so much better. You get so much more experience and so much better loot than all the old areas. Maybe, you know, I'm just kind of hoping, especially if they raise the level limit to 80, maybe they just let you start an alt off at like 60 now. Once you've got like a level 80 character, you can start a character at 60 instead of having to go from 0 to 60 every time. I mean, you've obviously seen that whole game experience many times before by the time you get a character to 80.
Yeah, seriously, and I'd like to see some new content because I have something of an admission to make right now. While I haven't played World of Warcraft for about 4 months, I have gotten back into it. I am currently playing some more World of Warcraft. I have a brand new character, and I'm just basically messing around over on the Horde side. Built my own self little hunter. So I am back in the World of Warcraft.
Okay, now I'm over on Bailgun server, so if you're headed over that direction, that's where I'm playing is Bailgun. Soulrift, where are you playing?
I'm still on Earth
Excuse
and
me,
Ring.
Simon.
I've been there since the beginning.
Here I am. Yeah, Earth and Ring.
Earth and Ring Alliance. I switched my main character. I used to play Stev, a hunter. Now I play Tix, a warlock, and I'm still raiding full time. We raid 4 nights a week, and I switched guilds, but it's still good going. My old guild kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I've gone completely different with everything this time around. I'm going to go Horde. I'm going to start something, probably hopefully a class I haven't played before. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm on a completely different server of all things, and the biggest change here is it's no longer PvP for me. It's PvE. I've stepped away from the gank or be ganked world of Warcraft, and I am now being a complete Care Bear server. I think it's a lot less stressful there. Perhaps even a lot less interesting,
true.
but a lot less stressful.
Well, PvP has its moments.
Oh, it does. Don't get me wrong. I miss the days of horde hunting with my fellow Warcrafters, and but I'll be we'll see what happens here. I'm going to start getting back into it, create a new character, and roll with the big boys. See what happens.
Well, why don't we turn the time over to Simon Legree over there to run us through a little bit of what he's been playing in World of Conflict, or World in Conflict, excuse me.
Yeah, I guess this is sort of like a mini review. I haven't played the game through very much. I've only done the first 4 missions or so. But essentially, to put it into perspective, it's an RTS game, real-time strategy game. It's set in America 1989, when the Russians invade over the Pacific Ocean into Seattle, and the rest of the American armed forces are in Europe fighting some unnamed war, and you've got to kind of defend America with what little armed forces you have left against these invading Russians. Sort of a really weird storyline, but it plays out really well. The game is very cinematic. It incorporates, voiceovers and cutscenes and movies and very cinematic gameplay quite well. Unlike traditional RTS, sort of where you build your base, this is more of a tactical RTS, maybe a real-time tactical game. You move your units around. You got to kind of keep them alive. You do have these reinforcement points to call in additional units, but you don't have them in unlimited supply. They are sort of given to you in very specific parts of each scenario. And you also get these tactical points, tactical aid points, which is a really cool system because you get this whole drop down of essentially superpowers. Everyone loves playing those classic RTS games for the superpowers. I remember playing Dark Rain, and the highlight of the game was having rift generators all across the map and opening up these big rifts and blowing up the entire enemy base. And of course, in CNC, you've got the nuke and the ion cannon. Well, in this, you've got a whole set of these tactical support aids, including artillery shells, airstrikes, napalm, and they all have these sort of strategic layouts, like you might do a strafing run, where you pick a starting point, and then you point your arrow, and then so you can actually line up which targets you're going to get into your strafing run, or you put a big circular artillery and kind of hope it goes around that, or you've got Titan bunker busters to blow up a reinforced position. And these points sort of regenerate over time, depending on what areas of the map you control. When you've got more control, you get more of these points. And you can essentially just flood the map. It's just great, because, you've got 10 of these options, and you're just throwing artillery here and airstrikes here and more artillery there, and just throwing all these things together. It's just a really interesting sort of gameplay. It adds a lot of fun to it, because it's not just moving your units around and then hoping that they kill the enemies. It's a combination of the unit moving and also just dumping superpowers on flowing enemies. And I just find it a lot of fun, and I do recommend, if you like these sort of RTS games, especially the tactical ones, the combat-oriented ones, go check out World in Conflict by Sierra. And we'll have a full review of it up on GameSHOUT.com shortly.
Very cool, Simon. That's very cool. Yeah. That is one of those that I'm looking forward to checking out myself. And yeah, very good mini review. I like that. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as is our wont with our GameSHOUT radio, it is time for the wild, the wet, the wonderful, the whatever, the wacky news from around the world. Yes, the wacky news from around the world, where we bring you some of the most interesting stories that we can find from all over the world, not just the United States, although the United States does tend to have some of the most imaginative stories. This one off the AP Newswire, the time has come. Yes, the image of the angel of death, you know, the skeletal man wearing the black cloak and carrying a scythe, well, it shouldn't be so scary, or at least that's what worshippers from the Santa Muerte Sanctuary in Mexico City argue. It's not a man, they say. Well, the church, they split off from the Roman Catholic Church. They worship the Grim Reaper. Archbishop David Romo, he says that the worshipper was told in a dream to commission a new image of death as a woman in a flowing golden dress, holding a rose. This image is one of justice, of freedom, but above all, one that reveals the face of God, says Romo. He denies that the announcement is a publicity stunt to help regain the official government status as a legal church, which they lost when they split up from the Catholics. He said that everyone still loves the skeleton, but this new one is kind of a softer, gentler image. There will be no reason to criticize this personification of death. What? Criticize death? Not me. The thought never entered my mind. Now let's quickly move on to the next story, thank you. Ah, yes. Peekaboo! That's right, a private security guard was working at the federal courthouse in Spokane, Washington. And he got a lot of use out of the complex rooftop security cameras, according to prosecutor allegations. Rather than strictly keeping an eye on the security risks, Darren Earl Wanless, 32, zoomed in on a condominium building in a hotel. That's right, he was watching women undress through their windows. Yes, Wanless was turned in by a fellow guard after zooming in on a woman and exclaiming, "We've got boobies!" Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. We've got boobies. I just can't. That's a great line. All right, the high-powered cameras were automatically recorded, and at least 22 recordings of women have been found. We've got boobies. Wanless was charged with the multiple counts of felony voyeurism and faces prison if convicted. Boy, if he does time, that's going to be funny. Oh my goodness! If he's pleaded not guilty, you'd think the neighbors would expect a little, homeland security, but no. Oh gosh! And hey, out of our stupid criminals file here in Galveston County, Texas, District Court Judge David Garner says that Brian Connolly, he's 34, he's a sort of defendant who can think outside the box. Well, Connolly, he's been convicted of forgery last year. He allegedly wrote letters to two men asking them to kill the judge, or the people actually involved in the case. Now, the intended victims, of course, the judge, Judge Garner, and the prosecutor. The two men that he wanted as hitmen, his attorney, for one, and Judge Garner? Yeah, he sent a letter to Judge Garner as one of the people he wanted as a hitman to kill Judge Garner. I know, doesn't make sense to me either. Talk about thinking outside the box. Now, when confronted, Connolly admitted to writing the letters. He only had 11 months left to serve on his forgery conviction, but now he's charged with 2 counts of attempted solicitation for capital murder. Now, he may be thinking outside the box, but he's going to be inside the box for a few years to come. Thank you very much. That one here, let's get rid of him. Thank you, Connolly. You go into the vertical file. Thank you. Goodbye. All right, one of my favorite wacky news stories for the day. This man hides his sex toys in the worst way. This is out of Berlin. The staff at a German butcher shop were shocked to discover a customer had hidden 2 sex toys in their sausages for transport to Dubai. You know, they're not allowed in Dubai. No, can't take stuff like that in. Yeah, he had 2 latex dildos with natural look, according to the spokesman for the police department of Mannheim. After shopping there earlier in the day, the man who spoke broken English returned to the butcher's shop with 2 large Schwartenmagen sausages. He asked the shop assistant to wrap and cool them until he departed for Dubai the next day. Now, the assistant, he noticed the goods had gotten heavier, and so he alerted the police. Officers discovered the man, who was about 50, had removed some of the meat and packed the implements inside. Now, the police spokesman said he could have used a loaf of bread for all we care. It's not against the law here, but obviously we can't speculate on what customs in Dubai would have said about it. Yeah. He packed his sausages in a sausage. Hey, are you guys football fans?
Nope.
Somewhat.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am, okay? But this is German football, so it's probably, to us, it would be known as soccer. But you know how radical European football fans can be, okay? Well, a German football club is planning to set up a cemetery for fans who want to take their love of the game to the grave. Yeah, the Hamburg SV chairman Christian Reichert, he said the cemetery would be built opposite the stadium and would have room for more than 150 graves. He said it would not be full of colorful headstones. And he didn't want to turn the graveyard into a bazaar or for fan merchandise or anything like that, but it would be a place for true fans to find their final resting place. He did add that memorial stones and some of the club's greatest players would be erected in the cemetery. Stones to the club's greatest players would be erected in the cemetery. And a display of the club's emblem made of flowers would also be placed in the cemetery. Okay, throw that away too. Jeez. Okay, now this one kind of catches me off guard, but not by much. A woman goes to the doctor, okay, and she has an ultrasound. She knows she's going to have a baby. All right. Well, this Australian woman, she gave birth to twins instead of a single baby after undergoing an in vitro fertilization. And she sued her doctor for the cost of bringing up the second child. The woman, who can't be identified because of a court order, is seeking $329,000 to cover the expense of raising one child to the age of 21. Testifying in the Supreme Court of Australian Capital Territory on Tuesday, the 40-year-old mother said she told her doctor that she only wanted one child. Well, an embryologist, under the doctor's supervision, implanted 2 embryos in her uterus, resulting in the birth of non-identical twin girls. Now, the woman told the court that she and her female partner were devastated when they learned that she was carrying twins, even considering putting one of the babies up for adoption. Now, the couple, whose combined income, now get this, exceeds $82,000. In fact, $82,875,000. They're seeking $329,000 to cover the cost of raising the two girls, including private school fees. They also want more than $12,000 to compensate them for time off of work and medical expenses. So they're going to sue the doctor for the raising of the second child. Okay, you don't want the second child? Give the child up for adoption. Somebody else will be happy to raise that child for you. For nothing, man. Oh, well, excuse me, woman. But check this, guys. This is just off the wall. A politician sues God. Yeah, a politician sues God. An American politician is challenging the U.S. legal system by suing God. Senator Ernie Chambers has accused the Almighty of causing death, destruction, and terror on a massive scale. This according to a Nebraska state paper. And he is seeking a permanent injunction to prevent him from moving in such mysterious ways in the future. Chambers, he filed this tongue-in-cheek lawsuit in Omaha, Nebraska. And basically what he's doing is he's showing that the lawsuit can be filed over anything against anyone. Now, he was so annoyed by this case filed in federal court over the ruling by a state judge who ruled that some words could not be used by witnesses in a sexual assault case. Now, he said that people might call it frivolous, but I'm trying to raise some very serious issues here. Okay? So he's trying to get this point across. Now, he's referring to the Bible. He said that God has admitted to causing calamitous catastrophes, resulting in widespread death, destruction, terrorization of millions upon millions of Earth's inhabitants. These include fearsome floods, earthquakes, horrendous hurricanes, terrifying tornadoes, pestilence plagues, fearsome famines, devastating droughts, and, of course, wars, birth defects, and the like. Now, he said he's tried in vain to serve the notice on the defendant by shouting, come out, wherever you are." Oh, gosh. Look out for lightning, Senator. Okay, and that's coming up in one of my stories here, too. But Chambers said that since God is everywhere, he comes under court jurisdiction and must know about the case against him. Okay, come out, wherever you are. Lightning strike is coming, guys. I'm telling you, we're going to hear about it. All right. Oh, gosh. Well, let's go ahead and take this down to our last news story of the day. In fact, this happens to be one of those news stories that gets my vote for it. News story of the day. Imagine, if you will, a biker being struck in the penis by lightning. Excuse me while I regain my composure. This poor senator. Okay.
I think I'll pass on the imagining of that.
I think you should. I'm sorry. I've just got this tingly feeling all over. Okay. A Croatian motorbiker's penis was zapped by lightning when he stopped beside a road to relieve himself. Ante Danjic, he's 29, from Zagreb, he said, "I don't remember what happened. 1 minute I was taking a leak, and the next thing I knew I was in the hospital." The doctors said that lightning went through his body because he was wearing rubber boots and he was grounded by the urine.
Yeah, but didn't they disprove that on the Mythbusters? Because the urine breaks apart into separate, globs of water. It's not a constant stream.
It is a steady stream, dude.
You have to be within a couple inches for it to stay a steady stream. After a few inches, it breaks apart.
You go urinate on an electric fence and then come talk to me about it, okay?
That's exactly what they did on the show. They had the myth was that you could electrocute yourself by peeing on an electric train rail, and they disproved it. They busted the myth.
Lightning zapped this guy, and it got him right in the organ, okay? And he suffered light burns to his chest and arms, but thankfully the doctor said that there would be no lasting effects and that his penis will function normally eventually. Oh, jeez. Look, I'm not going to test it. I'm not going to test it by going and taking a leak on the third rail, but my heart goes out to this poor guy, okay? And with that, we're going to wrap up the wacky news from around the world. I want to thank you for tuning into GameSHOUT Radio and the wacky news and all that goes along with it. And we're glad to have you with us for all the news that's interesting, involving games, involving all that's interesting. I want you to go to GameSHOUT.com and join us there for news, reviews, and, of course, these podcasts and more. This is Captain Maverick, along with Josh and Simon. Josh? Simon?
See you guys.
See ya.
Wishing you good night, and we'll see you next week.
This is GameSHOUT Radio, the #1 talk game station in the world. Visit GameSHOUT.com for more info. GameSHOUT. GameSHOUT.